Dale Finucane, hit those special effects. Hey guys, welcome back to Rugby League Outlaws. Those tuning in to hear Dale Finucane talk, Sharks talk in about 5 or 6 minute time, we'll cover it in depth. Those tuning in to see the big man Terry, he'll once again be joining us later via very expensive satellite. So back here in the studio, we're going to talk the big news this week. The big news, unfortunately, is the Rugby League World Cup is now in serious jeopardy after Australia and New Zealand in effect pulled out and said we're not sending our players for obvious reasons. Look, with all due respect to England and Tonga, you take Australia and New Zealand out of the World Cup, you're playing a very second rank. The teams look as though they're going to go and think of some alternatives perhaps. There's a side that there could be an Indigenous side, there could be a Maori side, there could be an Australian invitational side, as we saw with Tonga a few years ago when they were effectively kicked out for a couple of months. Look, we haven't heard the most of this. I have no idea what's going to happen, but you have to think, a World Cup without Australia and New Zealand, what's the point? In much more exciting news, congratulations Brisbane, the 2032 Olympics are headed your way. As someone who was around for the Sydney Olympics, fantastic, best couple of weeks of your life. Look, we're going to kick this off right now. Officially today, we're going to go to the IOC in a couple of months' time, present a case for Rugby League, the greatest game of all, joining the Olympics. None of this nines rubbish. We want 80 minutes of Rugby League. If we can't get our World Cup win, we're going to get our 2032 Olympic gold medal. Last week I celebrated 1 week bubble breach free, and it came back to bite me as Api Carousel has allegedly and since admitted to broke the bubble. Look, we won't go into the ins and outs here, that's for another time. I knew 2 weeks was too good to be true. You know, the Queensland Health have pretty much come out and said one more bubble breach and it's game over for you guys. Look, short of moving the comp to Perth, Brisbane's our last hope. Guys, please just stay in your rooms, earn your 800 grand, drink your flat Coca-Cola or whatever. Let's do this. We need our rugby league in this time. Look, in other signing news, we mentioned it last week. Tavita Pangai Jr. has signed officially for the Bulldogs next year. Look, in terms of player quality, that's the signing for them. They had 1,000 quick fullbacks, no one to get them over the advantage line. That's a brilliant signing. Looks like he's going to head to Penrith this year as sort of a pinch hitter for a premiership. Look, can't blame the guy, but unfortunately the Api Carousel going back there. Since Penrith account were all ready to announce the signing formally and actually posted something on Twitter, only to delete it less than 2 minutes later as the Api Carousel news broke. Look, plenty of people are rightfully annoyed about this, how a player's gone from the worst team in the competition to one of the top two. He's going to go in and potentially play a grand final, win a premiership after multiple disciplinary breaches. Look, I don't mind, if you're a good enough player, you're going to earn these spots, but it doesn't send a good message for those players doing the right thing. I hope Penrith don't win the title this year. Favourite time of the week, black, white and blue. Guys, welcome back, and I'm in a celebratory mood for 2 reasons. It's not often that the Sharks are the reason I'm in a good mood, but they did 2 things I love today. The first, of course, was putting the Bulldogs to the sword in the end. We'll go into that in a little bit, but the big news, of course, is that we've signed Dale Finucane on a 4-year deal. Look, we've now signed the 2 most sought-after players in the player market in Nicho Hynes and Dale Finucane. I know we were chasing Adam Reynolds and we did miss out. Not the end of the world as we predicted. But in terms of pure quality and quantity of teams that were chasing these players, we signed the big 2 and I could not be happier. Today's result, was very, very good. Did his point differential, got us in the 7th spot, but the middle looked very weak. Ken McInnes and Dale Finucane with Toby Rudolph back into the 8, and you're talking a completely different team this year. I can't wait. I think this could be the signing of all signings. And just quietly, I'm hearing he might be our captain next year. And in terms of that, couldn't be happier.
I just wanted to talk about the Andrew Fifita inclusion in the game. I think it was a good move the minute Teague Wilton was out injured. There's one thing that we've missed a lot, and that's leadership in the squad. And I think just having Fifita, even though he always warms up game days, but having him there on the bench, being able to talk to the players, I think that was great. His first stint was shocking. He was very slow around the ruck, but it's going to happen. He doesn't have much match fitness. He probably doesn't have a lot of fitness due to his legs as well, but His second stint, really good. He ran hard, tackled hard, and he was there just to see the game out. The impact that he has for the side is just, you can't question it. He's not the player that he was. He's not, 2016 Andrew Fafita. He is what he is at the moment, but what he is still valuable leadership for this team until we get our together for 2022.
The other big news, of course, is that we continue to be linked to Luke Brooks in the player market. I go back and forward on this. Earlier today, I was upset with it. Now I'm really hoping we sign him. In 20 minutes' time, it'll be something completely different. One thing I have noticed, though, is every single player who's either signed or re-signed with Cronulla has specifically gone out of their way to mention Craig Fitzgibbon was the reason. If Fitzgibbon says Luke Brooks is our halfback moving forward, Luke Brooks is our halfback moving forward. I think we've thrown everything behind Fitzgibbon. If he says, I'm on board.
Matt Moylan re-signing for 1 year, I think, is a good move for all parties. It doesn't tie us into a long-term contract with Matt. He takes a pay cut. He doesn't have to go to England where he's subject to COVID. He gets the opportunity to work under Fitz, and I think that's really important, not only for Fitz but for us as well. One of the things that Fitzgibbon wants and why he's keeping Josh Hannay on is continuity around the team and leadership. And, Matt Moylan, despite what he is on and off the field in the past, he is a leader in this team. He can be a larrikin. He's a better man's James Maloney. Obviously, we won that trade. But, it's really important, I think, to keep him around. Will he be one of our starting halves next year? Who knows with the Luke Brooks rumours floating around at the moment. But what he will be is he'll be another body like a Will Chambers. He'll be there for leadership. The young kids coming through definitely find himself on the bench or 18th man. So it's a handy re-signing and one that I like.
Look, going back to today's game, Sean Johnson unfortunately looks like he may miss a couple of weeks, potentially the end of the season with a hamstring injury. Look, much with Luke Brooks, I flip-flop on Sean Johnson every week. He was diabolical last week. He was brilliant the week before. Today, he was really on track for a huge game. Luke Johnson had the ball on the string. Try assists were piling up. We were on track for a humongous win. Fortunately, the injury did set us back. In the end, we had more than enough quality against pretty bog ordinary dog side, if I'm being truthful, and got home. But in terms of our top 8, hopes, Johnson was our best bet at getting us there. But in terms of next year, Connor Tracy and Braden Trindle look like they got plenty of chance now to press their claim for next year. This could be a blessing in disguise. Just going back to today, there's someone I really want to single out, and that's Britton Nakora. I thought he had his best game in a long, long time. Was our best on field. And look, played a lot of the game out in the centres, really, with Hiroti slotting inside at times. I think that might be the go moving forward if we're looking for an option. In terms of his running ability, he looked quick today, he looked elusive, he looked super interested. Really happy to see Nakora back on because he's one of our most dangerous players. In terms of signings, Dale Finucane, Nico Hines, Cam McInnes, 3 superstar signings, completely changed the trajectory of the club moving forward. From what we're hearing, we're far from done in terms of the player recruitment market, in terms of re-signings and new signings. Look, it's a matter of watch this space, but, a centre and a half-back look like they may be not too far away. Super exciting times in the Shore. A win, a big signing, suddenly 2022 is looking pretty sweet.
Let's talk some Top Sport tips, Dan. Our good friends at Top Sport would be hating us at the moment. You and I were just landing multis left, right and centre. My bank account's just shooting up at the moment. Let's start with the Roosters and Eels. Look, this is going to be a cracking game. The Roosters somehow just managed to, overcome injury problems, overcome a lot of adversity and just get on with it. The Eels, lost a game to the Raiders that they had a lot of opportunity to win. Comfortably should have won that game. They get Mitchell Moses back now. I can't remember the last time the Eels lost 2 in a row. They have bounced back from defeat very well this year, and also if they want to be in the top 4 at the end of the year, they're going to have to win this game. I think the Eels will win it 1-12. I'm going to back Mike Acevo in for 2 tries.
Friday night, first game sees the Tigers play the Warriors. Look, coming off the game on Thursday night, so this is quite a downer before we get to the game of the season. But look, the Tigers, they need to win. The Warriors need to win. The Warriors are going in without their 2 props. Fanua Blake's injured. Matt Lodge is set to be suspended. Tall order. But if there is one team you want to play in a must-win without your arguably your best two players, two of us, Sheck's also missing, it's against the Tigers. Look, the loser of this, Gonski's just not serious. I would argue that the winner of this game isn't going to have enough to play finals football, but for the loser, it's over. I'm going to tip the Tigers, and that hurt to say. Adam Dewey, though, there's just no one like him in that Warriors outfit. Tigers 1-12, Adam Dewey, man of the match, and the standard no for limit try.
Yeah, Broncos and Cowboys, interesting game. Both of them are in a bottom four. The Broncos' form has turned around. The Cowboys' form is wiltering. Lots of injuries up there in North Queensland. Their halfback, not really good. They've got another halfback coming in next year who's no good either, so I don't really see it turning around too much. And I think the Broncos have just got a little bit of momentum. They had a great game against the Panthers. I think it'll be enough to see them get over the Cowboys, take the Broncos 1-12. And go Tessie New anytime try scorer.
Super Saturday kicks off with the Dragons and the Bunnies. Look, the Dragons will be missing a player or two as they serve their week suspension from the Paul Vaughan thing that will hang over them till the end of the season, to be all honesty. Look, another game. The Dragons simply have to win. They were overtaken by the Sharks this week. There's people breathing down their necks. Canberra's still there, and I'd argue they've got a better side. This is a must win. I just can't see it happening. Bunnies are too good right now. If they keep the pressure on and win this game, they could conceivably go second. For the Bunnies, arguably also a must-win game. Their top four position is set in stone, but they've got very real opportunity to go into second spot in the next week or two, given that Penrith and the Storm play later that evening. One team has to lose, you'd think. I think the Bunnies will run right. I see nothing in the Dragons in the last couple of weeks that suggests they can keep close. The Bunnies 13 plus, Cody Walker, man of the match. Just copy and paste every week. Bunnies by heaps.
Knights and Raiders, look, if you're a Sharks fan like we are, we really need the Knights to win this game and get the Raiders off our tail. Unfortunately, the Knights are just appalling this year. They've regressed a lot. Their pack, it's just not standing up for a fight anymore. The Raiders, on the other hand, they're sniffing out a top 8 opportunity. 8 spots there for the taking. The Sharks have now lost Sean Johnson. The Dragons have just remembered that they're the Dragons. There's a fight on their hands for them. I'm going to pick the Raiders to win this one and win it comfortably. Boost their for and against. Take the Raiders 13 plus. And I'd be looking at Jordan Rapana to continue his try-scoring run. The game of the round, the game of the season, the Melbourne Storm will host Penrith Panthers in front of a hopefully jam-packed Suncorp Stadium. Look, this will be a Melbourne Storm home game in every aspect of the word, other than it won't be in Melbourne. This game, I cannot wait. I hope Nathan Cleary's back. If he's not, Melbourne win by heaps. Pappenhausen's back. Nico Hines can slot in anywhere. The result of this game really relies on whether Nathan Cleary's fit or not. If he's back, Penrith can push Melbourne all the way. If not, I don't think they're in this fight. That's how vital he is, and that's how close I'd see these two teams matched up. I'm going to tip the Storm. I'm going to go by 1. I'm going to go a Jerome Hughes field goal in the 79th minute. This game will live up to the first game, whereas if Justin Mullin passed, they win that game. They didn't. They'll want this win more than you can imagine. I can't wait. Bulldogs and Titans, look, the last couple of weeks the Dogs have been really good. They've taken Souths to a tough game and a dogfight, if you will, and then they show up against the Sharks, ill-disciplined, the Dogs of old, the Dogs that are going to win the wooden spoon this year. On the flip side, the Titans get a good win over the Dragons, and all of a sudden their season's back on life support. They probably could scrape into the 8 now. As I said, there's opportunities there with Sean Johnson's injury and with the Dragons just being hopeless. Pick the Titans to win this game and win it comfortably. Corey Thompson to score a try, David Fifita to score a try, and Toby Sexton just to continue being sexy.
And the other game that could potentially be game of the round or the blowout victory of the round sees the Sharks host, again, Manly in Redcliffe, which is fantastic for the fans up there. Look, we beat Manly every 4 years. I suppose technically this is an Olympic year, so let's hope that carries over. Otherwise, Tommy Turbo's going to just tear us apart up the middle. I can't see anything but a Manly convincing win, especially without Sean Johnson. Look, for Cronulla, it's about damage limitation and winning the next 5 games. It's sweet. Manly quite convincingly. Oh, that sucks to say.
Hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of Rugby League Outlaws. I'm here in my office, I'm away from Dan and the boys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Give us a shout out anywhere you can. Twitter, all the socials, we're everywhere, we're loud. Trash us in the comments, say something positive if you want. Positivity is what we need in this time. And always, Dan.
Rugby League, baby!